Welcome back, James MTG Biggie here, and I wanted to get a video up quick because there was some news today. So I am on my way to work, actually, backing out of my driveway as we speak, and I promise I'm safely driving. I'm not even paying attention to the camera here, the road over here, right? Yesterday, the Metamorphosis 2.0 article came out. Talked about a lot of changes to the standard block sets. Of course, that's coming back, hopefully focusing on making a better standard. Well, today, their big announcement, I'm sorry if this thing's bouncing around a bit, but their announcement was actually the banned and restricted announcement. Today's date being June the 13th, Tuesday, and we'll start with the easy stuff, right? Vintage, Legacy, Modern, no changes. No bans, no restrictions, no changes to Pauper, even though who expected a change to Pauper, right? And no changes to 1v1 or normal Commander, okay? Easy stuff out of the way. And once again, changes to Standard. Aetherworks Marvel now banned in Standard. How ridiculous is that, right? Aetherworks Marvel, a very powerful Magic card in a very powerful deck, being the Temur Marvel deck. The combination with Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, I guess proved to be too big of a deal or too much to handle for Standard at the moment. The deck kind of rose back to the top after the banning of Felidar Guardian. So the Saheeli combo deck was killed after Emrakul and Reflector Mage and Smuggler's Copter were killed, and now the third step of the bannings in this past two Standard formats, Aetherworks Marvel now banned. I played the deck, and I'm not that bummed because as a player of the deck, because the deck is very powerful and very good and very, I don't want to say hard to beat, because it absolutely could have been beaten. A lot of times it just beats itself, right? When you spin the Marvel and you whiff. But the trouble here, I think, is the precedent that it sets for Standard going forward. Standard bans are a bad thing. I don't think anybody would agree that they're good for the game of Magic and good for Standard. And while the deck was great and very powerful, it was also very beatable, and the biggest piece of the deck that really pushed over top, being Ulamog, is about to rotate in a couple months here. I was of the opinion that you just let it run its course and see what happens after Ulamog rotates. If Ulamog rotates and then Aetherworks Marvel is still super overpowered, okay, then address it later on. But for now, I thought it was fine to be in the format. I know a lot of players kind of disagreed, but a lot also agreed to let it run its course. Either way, the odd thing is they addressed this card immediately because it's part of a deck that has a combo that basically stops your opponent's momentum and wins you the game, essentially, most of the time. Just like Felidar Guardian, it ended the game pretty much immediately when it stuck, and they don't like the feeling of that, but they've ignored what I feel is the not even that quiet, the most powerful card in Standard, Gideon, Ally of Zendikar. That card is ridiculous now. And ridiculous since it's been printed. It gets played all the way back to the Legacy, right? That card in the Mardu vehicle shell, I feel like, is equally as oppressive and equally as annoying and feel bad to play against as Aetherworks Marvel, maybe even as Felidar Guardian, because it hits the board and you're not dead immediately, it kind of gets a free pass. But an unchecked Gideon hits the board and you don't have that immediate piece of removal to handle it, you're basically dead. Like, you're not winning that game. You're not coming back from that advantage like 80% of the time. Gideon is just a ridiculous planeswalker. It is probably in the top 5 most powerful of all time. So that wasn't addressed. I feel like the format is going to revert back to a Mardu Vehicles dominated format. That and I think zombies are going to be 2 decks to kind of duke it out. The article that Wizards posted about the announcement included a list that recently 5-0'd a league, a Teamer Energy list that looks solid, and I have a couple friends that have been playing just Teamer Energy without the Marvel Ulamog package for a while now. Friend Dave of mine has been on that list, was talking to me about it very, very recently, trying to talk me into moving away from Marvel and into that. And I'm sure that will be a deck, but why not just play the deck that plays Gideon the best? Because that is clearly the most powerful card left in the format, and it's what's going to, I think, be the king of the hill going forward. Even like the black-white zombie show with Gideons in it is a very good deck, and this whole thing just feels like something that they could just avoid by not banning Marvel and by letting it run its course and letting something be the best and just let it run its course. I understand maybe they were kind of concerned about the interaction of Aetherworks Marvel into Nicol Bolas coming in Hour of Devastation or whatever. But if that wasn't already in their mind, because the standard format was meant to have Kaladesh block and Amonkhet block together, and they didn't already prepare for that or like figure out how that works together in their testing and development, then they really messed up a long, long time ago. It really, really does a lot to the confidence that I think a lot of players are going to have in Wizards to create a good, healthy standard environment, and fear in a lot of players to not rush out and build the best deck in standard for fear of it just getting ban-hammered a few weeks later or a month later or 2 months later. I don't know if it's really a good thing. I think it's kind of a bad thing. What do you guys think? Please leave in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and I'll put a button up here for you to subscribe, or over here, I don't know which, but and also a link to yesterday's video about Metamorphosis 2.0 and the other changes that we're having going forward, and a link to another video of mine, whichever probably randomly chooses for you. But definitely let me know how you're feeling about it, and I will talk to you guys very soon.